How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling, and one of the things we do here is called Unstable Stables. It started with us taking stables or factions and drafting them into two separate teams, and then we do a makeshift card at the end where we pit Leonard's team against my team, a little fantasy booking. It started with stables and factions. It's kind of morphed into not just stables and factions, but families and groupings of wrestlers, uh, various categories. And as such, Leonard suggested that we do the Guerrero family. Leonard, why did you think about the Guerrero family?
Well, in the past we did the Samoan bloodline family, which I think wound up being the largest stable that we done, and we did
Yeah.
the Hart family, and I was trying to think of some other families that we could do. And the last time we did an unstable stable, I mentioned I had kind of stalled out on the Guerreros, and you had encouraged me to go back to it, so I went back, and I do admit some of the names that we have are a stretch. But some interesting names and some interesting connections that some people may not think about to the Guerrero family, but it was a different family for us to do.
Absolutely. So let's just a little history on how this family got started. It started with the patriarch, that being Gory Guerrero, who wrestled his first match September 14th, 1937. So that is how far back the wrestling history of the Guerreros goes. He had four sons that would go into wrestling: Chavo Sr., Hector, Eddie, and Mando Guerrero. So we are going to get to all of the actual family members and those who are kind of on the branches here in a second. But I think everybody understands the rules, Leonard. So should we jump right into it?
Sure. So Chad gets the first pick this time, and then I get the first pick on the card, which we will get to when we get to the card. We have 22 names, so we'll be picking 11 each, so 10 active wrestlers and one person to serve as a manager or valet. So here's the draft board. We have, as Chad mentioned, Gory Guerrero is the patriarch of the Guerrero family, and he had four sons who wrestled: Chavo, Hector, Eddie, and Mando. And then Chavo's son, Chavo Guerrero Jr., or Chavito, also wrestled famously. And Eddie, after he died, his wife, Vicky Guerrero, served as an authority figure and as a manager valet for WWE and some other promotions. And their daughter, Shal Guerrero, also known as Raquel Diaz, worked for FCW and NXT. And since 2016, she's been married to Aiden English, which I know surprised Chad when I told him that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who wrestled in WWE and was tag team partners in the Vaudevillains with Simon Gotch. So I threw Simon Gotch in there. Now, of course, the person who is probably most associated with the Guerrero family, who's not a blood member, would be Rey Mysterio Jr. He tagged and feuded with Eddie and Chavo Jr. long time. And of course, there was the famous feud where Eddie was supposed to be Dominic's illegitimate father. So Dominic Mysterio is here. And then, of course, Rey Jr. got his name from his uncle, Rey Mysterio, or Rey Mysterio Sr., so he's added. Also, we looked at tag team partners here, and Al Madrill was a tag team partner, held tag team gold at the regional level with Mondo and Chavo Sr. And then Art Barr, also known as Beetlejuice or the Juicer in WCW, was a tag team partner with Eddie in Mexico. They formed a very popular tag team there in the mid-90s. And Art's brother is Jesse Barr, who was Jimmy Jack Funk in WWE, and their dad was a wrestler, Sandy Barr. We also have Ultimo Guerrero, who is not a relation, although he's sometimes mistaken to be. In Spanish, Ultimo Guerrero means the final warrior or the last warrior. So that's just the name that he uses. He's a Mexican wrestler, and he is connected to Ultimo Guerrero Jr. or Grand Guerrero, who, when he first debuted, was thought to be Ultimo's son, but was later revealed to be a very much younger brother of Ultimo Guerrero. So that's Grand Guerrero. And then we start to stretch. I threw in Juventud Guerrera because Guerrero as opposed to Guerrero, and of course Hoovy was associated with Eddie and Chavo Jr. and Ray in WCW when they had that big luchador explosion in the late '90s, and that was because of Conan. It's been documented that Conan was the conduit with Eric Bischoff to bring in the luchadors. So if it wasn't for him, Eddie, Chavo, Ray, Hoovy may not have gotten the exposure that they did. Now, shortly before coming on, I was going over the list and realized that I miscounted, which longtime viewers will know I do that a lot. So I only had 21 names. We were going for 22. So at the last minute, I tossed in El Dandy because who are we to doubt El Dandy's worthiness of being in this draft?
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, so with the whole board laid out, Chad, as I said, you have the first pick this time around.
And let me just say first off, this first pick was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Like there's there's a couple names that like jump right out at you, but I'm really I'm really hoping that like we don't do the predictable thing here. I'm going to strive to not do that in terms of my match layout anyway. But I am going to pick Eddie Guerrero first.
Well, I thought Eddie would. I mean, to me, Eddie was the clear number one. Often I say that there's one or two, or sometimes even three people I could see as being the number one pick. But I figure Eddie was ring work, mic work, and also familiarity. As we go through this, there's some of these people that we don't know that well, and I'm sure some of the viewers won't know that well. So I may do
Eddie Guerrero was WWE champ one time and Grand Slam champ overall in WWE, and obviously a member of the Hall of Fame.
Yes, and then maybe I'm doing the predictable thing, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Ray Jr.
That's okay. So that's I figured that would be the 1-2 punch. And see, this is where I think you could have different strategies. I truly believe that you could have different strategies going forward. So I am going to possibly surprise you.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Patriarch, Gory Guerrero, as my number 2.
When you said surprise me, I thought Gory because I had Gory lower on my list. Although I thought about maybe jumping him up because he's the patriarch. I remember I took Stu Hart very high when we did the Hart family as the patriarch because I thought he was a good counter.
I forget how, but didn't that backfire?
It did. Well, I wound up. I think the main event was Stu versus Brett.
Oh, yeah.
Because I figured Stu would just whip his butt, and you made a convincing argument that Stu would probably put Brett over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this surprises you or not, but I'm going to go Hoovy, number 2.
You know what? He was going to be next on my list if you didn't take him. So that makes sense to me. I've always enjoyed Juventud Guerrero's work. He's Cruiserweight champion 5 times and a WCW tag champion 1 time. I jotted down various stats so we could give people an idea of who these guys are in case people out there do not remember. I am going to go with Chavo Jr.
Chavo Jr. would have been my next pick. I think we've been doing this too long. I had him geared up next. With that being said, I'm going to take Chavo Sr.
Chavo Sr. Was a WWE Cruiserweight champ, for those that recall that, and also an NWA Junior Heavyweight champion as well.
I loved when he came back with Chavo Jr. They called him Chavo Classic.
Yeah, which is a great name.
Yes, as opposed to like Chavo Sr. or Old Chavo or the Elder. Like Chavo Classic was such a great idea. Whoever came up with that. Brilliant.
I am going to go with another son next. I'm going to go with Hector Guerrero. So Hector Guerrero, for those who know their history, is the gobbledygooker. He has also been an NWA Junior Heavyweight champ and an AWA tag champ. I actually, Leonard, watched a match of Hector's right before this earlier today, and it was one of his gimmicks in NWA was Lasertron.
Yes, he was a masked. It was supposed to be like a laser tag
Right.
type of gimmick. I was going to mention Lasertron if you did not. Hector is super underrated. I almost took
Yeah.
him over Chavo, but Chavo too, I think is really underrated today. But because of his son, I think he's got a little more name value. So that's why I went with Chavo over Hector. But
Yeah.
Hector is very underrated. Um, I am going to go with. Do we want to finish off the? Let's finish off the brothers. I'll take Mando.
Okay.
Another kind of underrated guy. I remember having a tape. I can't remember what it was, but it was like some indie league that was trying to do the rock and wrestling deal, and they had a band on stage, but they did songs for all the wrestlers, and they had like a rock song about Mando Guerrero.
Okay.
That was
Well,
just like Mando, Mando. It was. I'm not gonna go into it, but it's like yes.
of
So
the
anyway, Mando Guerrero, personal favorite of mine of the Guerrero family.
of the sons, he had the resume that was hardest to kind of jot down bullet points. He was a stunt man. He was also did a lot of work in NWA Hollywood,
Mhm.
and also appeared in one of the UWF. That's right, the Herb Abrams promotion. He appeared at one of their events
Mhm.
as well. So okay, I knew I was going to get stuck having to go with this guy. Actually, you know what? No, I don't have to do that.
There's plenty of guys. There's plenty of guys left.
There is plenty of guys. We'll get to who I'm talking about.
Okay.
You might take him instead. I think I'm going to go a different route, and that is going to be another guy. I was watching his match actually as we were waiting. I was waiting for you to get on, and that is Ultimo Guerrero.
Really? Okay. See, Ultimo, I don't know a whole lot about. I should have referenced him a little bit
Well,
more. So, what did you think? What did you when you watched him? What was?
so I mean, he has a very classic luchador style. Whereas like Hector Guerrero, for example, Lasertron had a mixture of like a regular wrestling style and a little bit of that luchador stuff.
Mhm.
Ultimo Guerrero is more of the classic luchador style. Not as much of the high flying stuff as you see these days. But he was a CMLL World Champ 2 times, a Tag Champ 6 times, and a Trios Champ 5 times. So he has a pretty lengthy resume, at
I
least.
knew he had a decent resume. I don't know if this was the guy you were thinking about, but he is again one of the oddballs here. I'm going to take Aiden English,
Oh, okay. No, that
who is by marriage is a Guerrero.
absolutely, absolutely. I think that that's a good pick. I liked the Vaudevillains. I
Mhm.
think that they had a weird gimmick, but I liked it in NXT. It didn't translate as well to the main roster,
No,
sadly, but I did like that gimmick a lot. And you are forcing me to go with this guy next, even though like I really was not a fan, but I'll make good arguments for him. And that is Conan. Um, and
Conan would have been who I was going to take next.
yeah,
Guessing that was who you didn't want to take.
yeah, you know, I wasn't a fan of like the promo that he did. It was just more that because it was just this exact same thing every week, and man, it just got so annoying in my opinion. But he was U.S. champ 1 time, a TV champ 1 time, and a tag champ 2 times in
Mhm.
WCW, of course.
I think the problem with Conan is, like you said, he was very annoying. I think he thought he was a lot better than he was. I think he was very serviceable. If you go look at some
Yeah.
of his early work when he first came in WCW and was kind of dressing like an Aztec warrior with the fringe and stuff. I remember he had, I think it was a U.S. title match against Ric Flair randomly. It might have been on a Clash that was very good, but yeah, Conan I think is underrated, and I think it's because of his attitude and his personality that people go with. I'm gonna go with Dominic.
Ah, man. See, I was thinking about that. I was like, is he gonna? I thought you were gonna pick Aiden English's tag partner.
No, I'm gonna. I mean, you could Chad me, but I'm gonna let it go around.
All right. Well, in that case, I am going to go with somebody that I only know through, you know, the documentaries of his family member,
Mhm.
and that would be Ray Senior.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Ray Senior. I have seen, him on various things, and would certainly like to know more. So I won't. tease you any longer, I'll just go ahead and take Simon Gotch and complete that tag team.
All right. All right. Well, I am going to go with my manager next, and that would be Vicky Guerrero.
Okay. I mean, you could have Vicky wrestle.
I could, but I feel like she will absolutely add to any match I put her in.
Probably we use the word underrated a lot. I don't know if I would say she's underrated, but I think people don't like her, but that's the idea. The character she plays.
She did a
There's a
great job.
difference between being kind of unlikable and having what's called like X-Spot heat, where it's just go away.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
people loved to boo her. People loved to jeer her. So, yeah, now we're getting to some names that we're not so sure about or all that. I'm gonna go with Jesse Barr. I do know him, of course, from being Jimmy Jack Funk in the WWE. I always thought that was like, I never, even as a kid, I was like, so there's Terry Funk and Haas Funk, and then this is their nephew, Jimmy Jack. But why is Jimmy Jack wearing like a Lone Ranger mask?
Right.
Like if the whole family wore a mask, okay. But he was the only one that wore a mask. I didn't understand why.
These guys are the like definite oddballs of this stable.
Yes. Again, I was trying to stretch to get enough, because if you just do the Guerrero family, there's like 8. Like you need to have enough people.
No, absolutely. And so, yeah, Jimmy Jack Funk, he was the NWA Florida heavyweight champion 2 times. That was his big stat. So next, I am going to go with Al Madrill, who was tag partner of Mando and Chavo Sr. He was the NWA big time tag champ with Kerry Von Erich 4 times. So,
how I know Al Madrill is, this was a long time ago. This was like probably one of our first 6 months of when we did this. We did about wrestling songs, and there was this Chavo Guerrero song by the Mountain Goats.
I remember it. Yep.
And one of the lines is something like he was top of the mountain, king of the hill, tag team champs with Al Madrill. That's how I know Al Madrill is from that song. I'll complete another tag team. I'll take Jesse's brother Art Bar.
All right.
Yeah. I do remember as a kid as the juicer in WCW, because it was supposed to be a playoff of Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And he came out like dressed all funky, and he had like powder or something on him. So when he got hit, I guess it was supposed to be ectoplasm. I don't know. It would have been the same era as Lasertron.
Yeah. Yeah, he was his big stat is he was a AAA tag champion 1 time. And we mentioned that he was a tag partner of Eddie's.
Yes.
So is Gran Guerrero still on the board?
Gran Guerrero is still on the board.
All right, so I'm going to go with him. He was CML World Champ 1 time, and he was not just a tag partner with Ultimo Guerrero, his brother, but he was in a trios team with him. So.
All right, because it doesn't really matter at this point, I'm going to take Sandy Barr and just complete the Barr family.
Now you have to use all of them at once. I mean,
yeah, well, I have an opportunity to do that, but we'll see how it shakes out.
All right. So who's left, Leonard?
So El Dandy or Shal Guerrero?
Well, I'm going to pick El Dandy. El Dandy was in WWE, and has a lot of championships to his name in Mexico. But yeah, El Dandy was around for a while, and people that have watched wrestling through the 90s might remember who he is. So,
all right. So here's the roster. So Chad has Eddie Guerrero, Gory Guerrero, Chavo Jr., Hector Guerrero, Ultimo Guerrero, Conan, Rey Mysterio Sr., Vicky Guerrero, Al Madrill, Gran Guerrero, and El Dandy. I have Rey Mysterio Jr., Juventud Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero Sr., Mando Guerrero, Aiden English, Simon Gotch, Dominic Guerrero, Jesse Barr, Art Barr, Sandy Barr, and Shal Guerrero. So now it's time for our card. Usually we have an odd amount of matches, so one of us can claim victory. But I only have 6 matches, and again, it was kind of based on the smaller amount. Although we do have a few multi-man matches, but it's going to be what it is. So our card is going to start out with a 1-on-1 singles match and a 2-on-2 tag match. Then we have our lie, cheat, and steal title ladder match, which is a 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. So we'll place 2 each there. Another regular singles match 1-on-1. The Guerrero Family trios titles, being that they have basis in Mexican wrestling, I thought to go with the trios titles, to have a regular tag title, and then the Guerrero Family title at the end of the night. So singles match, I get the place first. And I am going to start out with one of my, you know what? Let's start out with Mando.
All right. So if you're giving me Mondo, I'm going to give you Hector.
Okay.
I'm going to give you Hector. And, I know Mondo was a stunt man, Leonard, but I don't know if he'd be able to top the gobbledygooker. I think that Hector, especially if he came down in the gobbledygooker costume and took it off to reveal himself as Lasertron. I think
he takes off the Gooker head and the Lasertron mask is on underneath.
Which, by the way, the match that I watched with Lasertron was like in an NWA soundstage or whatever. And like the people in the crowd, I don't know how much this was supposed to be kept secret or not, but people were kept saying, let's go, Hector. And like the commentators certainly weren't telling you that that's who that was. So I just found that to be funny. But in any event, Hector and Mando, we start out with a brother versus brother match. I like the matchup a lot. And I think Hector takes this.
I think this is a great way to start it. If the Guerrero family were actually going to do this and book something, I think they would probably book maybe 2 of the brothers at the opener of the show, and it might be Mando and Hector. I think this is a great match. I really do. I agree with you. I think, like I said, I told you I've watched some Mando matches. I know Mando. I do believe Hector is the better wrestler as far as having more of a high flyer style. I think Hector is really kind of in between maybe the more traditional. I don't know if you would even call it the traditional lucha style that maybe his brothers wrestled, and the more modern style that, say, Eddie wrestled.
Yeah.
I think Hector's right in between there. And because of that, I think Hector is good, and I'll give this to you. I think Hector would win this match, but it'd be good. I'd say give him at least 20 minutes and let him go have a barn burner. So you get to place first in the tag match.
All right. And I am going to give you El Dandy and Al Madril, the immortal tag team of Al Madril and El Dandy.
Yes.
Al and L.
Yeah, we need to think of a good tag name for them. Well, since we don't have a tag belt, we're doing a trios belt. I'm going to give you the Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains, all right.
And you know what? I don't think it really matters. I don't know. I'm going to save my manager because, of course, it would make sense for her to be with her husband. But I don't think the Vaudevillains need a manager. I think they, again, being that they are the natural tag team here, and the fact that they have had success as a tag team, at least in NXT, if not the main roster, I think just that alone would probably give them the win here.
Yeah, no, I think you'd be wasting the manager if you used it here. Like I said, the Vaudevillains were a solid tag team. I think that their characters could have morphed into something else if they really wanted to. Aiden English is very good. Yeah, I mean, these are just 2 guys that I had to pair together. I think that this would be, based on the Vaudevillains gimmick and who we have in this, I think this would be very much a comedy-leaning match.
Okay. Yes, it probably would be, and fun for what it is. I think it would be fun for what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the ladder match, and I would place first, and then it would go to you, and then back to me. I'm gonna go with. Let's start with Hoovy. I think he's built for ladder matches.
All right, and my first placement is going to be Conan.
All right, and let's see who I know. What I want to do here. I want to do that. I want to do. You know what? I got an idea. I'm going to use Chavo Senior. I'm going to use Chavo Senior here.
All right. And here we go, Leonard. Are you ready?
Yeah.
My last one, Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, that is not what I thought you were going to do.
This is a lie, cheat, and steal ladder match.
Yeah.
Got to have Eddie in there. So here's my thought process on this.
All right.
You have Conan in there as like the muscle, and I think that he'd be more than willing to help Eddie in this case. But man, let's just this would be a barn burner of a match. Like, this would be really exciting. If you have Hoovy and Eddie Guerrero in there together, you know it's going to be exciting. But you add Conan, and you said Chavo Senior, correct?
Chavo Senior, yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I almost went with Ray.
That
because I was going to do something different with the main event, which we can't do now, because I figured you were going to save Eddie for the main event, and I was going to give him Dominic.
Oh, see, that would have been fun too. See, I thought we were gonna. I didn't want us to do Eddie versus Ray.
No, I was going to do the same thing. I almost put Ray here, but then I was like, because then I was kind of cheating myself, because I was like, Hoovy, I think, would be the obvious pick. If you would have picked anyone else but Eddie,
yeah,
I think Hoovy wins this.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't want to race Ray and Hoovy together, and I was going to save Ray.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm Ray. Eddie versus Dominic would have been good. See, if you had, I had my heart set on Eddie after I was thinking about it, but I was hoping you would put Dominic here so that they could be in a ladder match together based on the history of the contract, the custody of Dominic back in the day. But in any event, this would be an outstanding four-way ladder match for sure. Yeah, I think, Eddie would rightfully win this, but it would be good.
It'd be good. It'd be great. All right. So you get first seed for the standard singles match that's coming next.
Okay. So let's see who we have here. You know what? You are going to get Chavo Jr.
Chavo Jr. And see, this just changes, because I was going to put Ray in this spot, saving Dominic for the main event. But now I think I want to do Dominic here.
Think about, oh man, if you knew what I was planning for the main event, like, to have Dominic there would be to me.
Well, you know what? Okay, let's do, because Chavo Jr. Ray Jr. has happened.
Yes, it has.
But okay, we'll do that. I will save Dominic. My finger was not off the checker. I will use Ray Jr. Because Chavo Jr. versus Ray Jr. standard singles match.
And they've had matches before. They've had some really good matches. It kind of gets overshadowed by how much chemistry and history Eddie had with Ray. But Chavo has had a lot of good matches. I remember Googling some of them years ago, just because I feel like a lot of the stuff he does is like goes under the radar. But that's why I chose Chavo Jr. I think that he has a lot of skills. Obviously, Ray has more skills in this case. This is just your classic one-on-one match. But these guys would certainly deliver. But I would certainly lean on Ray winning this.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I appreciate you going with Ray here. I do agree with you. Chavo has done a lot of work in Hollywood. He worked on A Glow. He worked on the Iron Claw. Like, if they need people trained to wrestle for a movie, Chavo Jr. has been doing that kind of work. So that shows you how good he really is. And again, I think I don't know if you go back and you look at all the matches they had, who comes out on top, it's probably going to be Ray most of the time. And again, Ray in his prime, so innovative. Great match. I mean, this is, I think, one of the few cards where I don't, at least up to now, we don't have any clunkers. These are all
Right.
really good matches. So trios match, I get to place first. You're going to get the Bar family. I'm going to give you Art, Jesse, and Sandy.
All right. Well, you guys, you're getting Ultimo Guerrero, Gran Guerrero, and Rey Senior. And as I said before, Ultimo Guerrero and Gran Guerrero were in a trios tag team together with a different guy. His name is Euphoria, by the way. He's absolutely not on this tree, but they're getting Rey Senior as their third. And I think just based on the chemistry that the brothers have, and Rey Senior, being such a big influence in lucha history, I see them topping the Bar family, Leonard.
Yeah, the big thing is if this is a traditional like lucha trios match, definitely the Guerreros, Ultimo and Grand and Rey Senior would have the advantage there. Even though the Art did wrestle in Mexico, if this was a standard, like say if we were doing a mid '80s WWF 6-man tag at a middle of an MSG show, I'd probably go with the Bars. But given what this is, I would say you get this trios match.
All right.
Okay. So the main event
to me is an exciting one.
Yes.
Is I'm sorry, not Chavo Senior. Gory Guerrero versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yes, and Dominic has his half sister Shao Guerrero with him,
and Gory has Vicky in his corner, and somebody he doesn't probably didn't know very well. Well, maybe he did. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'd have to go back and see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you picked up. I said that Shao was Dominic's half sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because of the illegitimate.
Well, you know what?
Yes. So anyway, I don't know. You talk to me first about this because this is not where I thought we would wind up.
No, but I'm glad we did wind up in a weird way. I honestly think that if there's anybody Dominic would be intimidated to face, it would be the patriarch of the Guerrero family.
Right. I think this would be something where like Dominic would like go out and run his mouth about how great he is and he can face anybody, and then Gory's music hits and Gory comes out and he like craps his pants.
Yeah. And the notion of Dominic, not just because it's my guy, the notion of Dominic winning a match with Vicky Guerrero at ringside while he's facing Gory Guerrero, it's a tall mountain to climb.
It is. Even with, because I can see Vicky and her daughter doing some shtick on the outside though.
Yeah, true.
Like doing something that's a distraction, and then Dominic gets a low blow, but Gory would come back. As much as I would love to have.
And I forgot to add this. Vicky's stats. She was a Miss WrestleMania, Leonard. I think that's important to remember. Vicky was Miss WrestleMania and a one-time Slammy Award winner with Edge.
Okay, how was Miss Russell? Was that a match or a bikini contest, or what was that Miss WrestleMania? I don't remember.
I do not remember that era as well. But if I had to guess, that was like something that was probably announced on the fly as like a way to get heat.
Yeah. She might have been hosting or doing some sort of commissioning type of work. I mean, I would love for this to have been Eddie versus Dominic, and I still would have gave it to Eddie.
That would have been great.
But yeah, I mean, and at one point I thought we might do Eddie versus Gory if I would have got one or the other. But
I thought about that too.
Been good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Dominic, I love the idea of Dominic being, and I think this would be Dominic's best match. I think Gory would really go out of his way to make Dominic look good. I think he would. Not technically his grandson.
No.
Kind of, sort of.
I feel like he'd be the guy that would want to whip this little kid into shape and teach him a lesson.
Yeah. It would be a beating, but it would be an entertaining beating.
So Gory Guerrero was put into the traditional Hall of Fame in 2019. Was an NWA light heavyweight champion 2 times, and there's not a lot. I tried to look for a match with him, but obviously he wrestled a long time ago.
Right.
He had a big rivalry with a guy named Cavernario Galindo, and you'll see a few clips of that match out there, but that's about that's about it. You know, there wasn't a ton of luchador stuff going on back then. He would do a couple flips, which I think was probably for the time period, like wow. But he had a more traditional wrestling style for sure, and I think that would match up nicely with Dominic Mysterio, who kind of has a background in obviously mainly WWE, but has the lucha pedigree. So
Yes, in the family history. So even though we had 6 matches, we do have a clear winner. Chad beats me 4-2.
all right.
So he definitely knows the Guerrero family better than I. And to tease, I have another one family keyed up that I sent to you earlier today because I thought of it and I was like, I wonder if I could figure it out. And I figured it out. So
Yeah, absolutely.
do we want to tell them or do we want to let the people wait in anticipation?
We'll keep them in suspense. That'll be a good one for sure. I'm anxious to do that. So let us know what you thought of our Guerrero family tree. Obviously, we stretched it a little bit in terms of who belongs there, but I think we did it in a way that there's logic to it, and I think that it made it more fun as a result. So let us know what you thought of these matchups, who our teams were. Any insights, please comment. Check out other videos as well. We are also available wherever you listen to podcasts. And for Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.